Hi, Empress Justice here. My eyes are a bit wonky, so forgive me for that. It's very late. It's about midnight, and as I'm filming this, it is officially September the 11th. On September the 10th, Charlie Kirk was murdered. He was killed by an alleged leftist. I don't know. I don't know like what political affiliations he is, but if he was supposed to be a leftist, it wouldn't surprise me. I have my own opinion on this, but I'm going to get straight into the reading, okay, to see what kind of clarity that I can get from this situation. So today I'm working with the Money Matters Oracle deck, working with Rhythm and Blues Tarot, and I'm working with the Modern Witches Tarot for tonight, okay? I'm also working with these beautiful carnelian runes that a friend bought me. So we're going to go ahead and get on with this reading, all right? So the top of the deck reflects the situation. This rune right here, it means the self. And the fact that it's reversed, it means that the enemy is from within. I'm going to say that again. When you get this in the reversed position, it means that the enemy has come from within. Okay? So, alchemy is the oracle card from the Money Matters oracle deck. It says using witchcraft, occult, and learning God's secrets transform the situation. I already know where this is going. So this was when Charlie was alive. What the rune and the oracle depict was what was going on around him. But these two cards represent Charlie himself at the time. Okay? So we've got the King of Roots, which means that, understandably so, he was pretty successful. Unlike Trump, Charlie Kirk seemed to be gaining popularity among conservative circles, because remember, the conservatives are gaining power, the far right are gaining power. So of course, Charlie Kirk was benefiting from that. He was already quite respected, and I think that respect was growing, especially among business and entrepreneurial circles. I feel like he was gaining respect among those people. So I don't think it was simply just edgelords that were into him. I think that Charlie Kirk, because he knew how to get people angry, he was really good for business. This card right here usually it creates this card right here creates career out of what people enjoy. That's the male version of it. It was his duty to appease to the edgelords, but he was also a good businessman, or a keen businessman. And this is how we remember him. This is how we remembered him when he was alive. Someone who just thoughtlessly espouses conservative values, with very little care or attention to the facts. But that's how we saw him. I don't know if it was a true reflection of who he truly was. Maybe it was. But one thing I do know is that he did know how to market himself. He knew how to make money. And it seemed like he was really good at knowing who to have around him. But I say that, but these things right here, this room right here, and this right here, somebody set him up. There's no way. He was set up. And that alchemy card was just too on the nose, because remember, Charlie was shot and killed a day before 9/11. It's literally 9/11 now as I'm filming this. So, yeah, so, okay, so let's have a look at the rest of the cards for this portion. So we're looking into the past right now. So we've got the Knight of Wands right here. And we've got the Four of Jazz. Things were looking up for Charlie. Things were really looking up for him. I feel like, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong about this because I didn't keep up with Charlie Kirk because I don't like him. But it seems like, just aside from being Trump's ally, he probably would have had an even more active role in policy. I think that he was probably listened to quite closely about like what the public feeling is, because, you know, Charlie Kirk, again, is liked by conservative people. So he was probably like the ears to the ground or something. But he would have been, I feel like he would have been considered for a more serious role within government or a more serious role within business. Things were looking up for Charlie. Things were really looking up for him. I can't stop looking at that rune. I can't stop looking at it. I can't stop looking at that rune and that card. I can't stop looking at it. It's like, I think he made a bargain with someone, something or someone, right? And because of that bargain, he was riding high. He was like really riding the wave, right? But somebody else did the same thing that he did. And the other person had more to offer. That's what it feels like here. That's what it feels like. So the next batch of cards with to do with the past are the Seven of Cups and the Strength card. I feel like his personal life wasn't doing so well, but his wife is very loyal. I feel like there wasn't that much. Things weren't so good, like on a private level, like career-wise, things were going really well, but on a personal level, things weren't so good from what I can see. They weren't terrible, but it's like, yeah, his wife is very loyal. She's ride or die, basically. She's right behind him, right beside him, whatever. I don't get the feeling that it's an overly loving union though, or between them. I think it was just, I don't think it was a marriage of convenience either though. I think there was genuine affection there. But it feels like, you know, maybe within his marriage there was an uncertainty of where Charlie's path was supposed to lead. I feel like, you know, Charlie knew what he wanted and he knew where he was supposed to go, but his wife wasn't so sure. Okay. I feel like that's what was going on here. But again, I could be wrong. I could be wrong, but like, I don't see any massive conflict between them here. You know, yeah. Yeah, but I do see that the wife was completely unsure. Not completely unsure, but she was unsure, while Charlie was very sure of what he wanted to do. His wife had second thoughts, and she couldn't put her finger on why, most likely, but she just had second thoughts about stuff. And then we got the Queen of Pentacles and the Lover's card. There was a longing for closeness among someone in Charlie's life. Why am I getting personal life shit? I don't care about this. Why am I getting it? Okay, so there was a longing for closeness in Charlie's life here. Somebody within his life longing for more closeness, longing for more affection. Um, I mean, it's the Queen of Pentacles and it's the Lover's card. So it doesn't necessarily mean romance. It could literally mean anything. But I think, yeah, somebody was longing for love, really. But it's like, because they didn't have that love and they didn't get that affection, they didn't get that tenderness, they made do. So it's like they found a way to make that lack of affection work. Whoever it was, it could have been Charlie, it could have been his wife, could have been his kids, could have been anybody within his life. Because they didn't get that closeness and that affection, it's like they made do in other ways. It's like they found a way to make it work. So I feel like Charlie felt like he was on good footing, but there were snakes in the grass. There were snakes in the grass. That's what I'm seeing. Snakes in the grass who didn't dislike him. That's not what I'm getting here. This ruthlessness right here, it was a business decision. It was not personal. Not personal at all. Whatever was going on behind the scenes, it was purely business. It was purely a business thing. Now I've got to get to his passing. So the cards I got for his passing was the moon, obviously, because, you know, September the 14th is going to be like the in-between phase between like the lunar eclipse and the solar eclipse. And it's like he died like just a few days before the 14th. So I feel like that has something to do with it, but also the moon. I feel like certain beliefs will be crystallized because of this passing. Yeah, emotions are going to run extremely high. That's understandable. It's something like that would happen. Lots of people are celebrating. I got the sun card when talking about his death, but I also decided to pull this one out. I actually replaced the sun with this card because I feel like it was the people who didn't really who didn't really know Charlie who probably felt his passing the most. Is that a weird thing to say? I feel like that's a weird thing to say. No, 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 no. The people who celebrated Charlie the most, they weren't the same as the people who were truly loyal to him. But I feel like that's a standard thing you could say about anybody. Yeah, no, I was wrong. The people who are loyal to him will feel it the most, of course. The people closest to him, then, the people who really follow his social media and are big fans of his, I think they'll be mourning his death, but more likely than not, they will turn this into an opportunity to cement and solidify their own beliefs. And I feel like smaller pockets of Charlie's fan base will gain a bigger following because of his death, because of his passing. Public face, yeah, yeah, like his death is the alt-right's rallying cry. The leftists are after us. And if this is meant to represent his death, I'm trying to understand what that means. There's a denial here of something. Maybe a denial of how serious the situation is. And truth be told, it could be by either side, by the progressive side or the alt-right. There could be a denial of how serious things actually are, even with this death that's just happened. But it is serious. And I got public face here. Follow your heart, become who you want to be, earn a reputation. It's okay to be yourself. I feel like, yeah, there are small pockets of his fan base that will definitely gain a bigger following and financial wealth for some of these fans will follow. Because I've got this right here. Let me have a look. Yeah. Possessions. The possessions rune. This is the possessions rune. This is yeah. Small pockets of his fan base will grow bigger because of his death, because of his passing. And I feel like now that Charlie Kirk has passed, you're not about, you're not just going to get one Charlie Kirk now. Like, you're about to meet all of them. Like I said, this is bad. This is not good. Okay. Okay, you've got the Wheel of Fortune and the Chariot. This signifies his death. This was not the work of just some lone crazy person. It wasn't. I don't care what anyone says. That's what I'm getting here. This death was timed perfectly. Like I said before, I'm not being funny, right? It is literally 9/11 as I'm filming this. This death was timed perfectly, and I mean perfectly. It was too timely to just be like one lone asshole doing this shit. And with what I know about frequency weaponry and what I know about like mind control and, what everyone knows about inside jobs and shit like that, like, this is just too fucking timely. I'm sorry. There's no way. But let me see what the cards tell me. This is a catalyst. This is a catalyst for a huge political shift. Now, we've already undergone really huge political shifts already. I think it's about to get worse. I think it's about to get like 10 times worse. Because this was always planned. This was always the plan. Trump is not liked. And if he died, like, maybe like a few fringe lunatics would mourn him, but like, no, like, K2 is in his ascendant right now. He's losing favor with everybody. Even people who really supported him are only supporting him now because they've got nowhere else to turn. Like, they already shot themselves in the foot. So that's the only reason they're even sticking by him. But approval ratings with Trump, I don't know what those approval ratings are, but they have to be in the floor at this point. And to me, it's funny how, like, whenever, Trump is losing favor with people, like, his friends keep fucking dying. You know what I mean? Like, first Jeffrey Epstein, now like Charlie Kirk. Like, it just seems like every time Trump is in danger of losing public favor, someone dies or someone is killed. This is a catalyst for something. Charlie Kirk's death is a catalyst. I remember somebody online a few minutes ago saying, what does Charlie Kirk's death have to do with the Epstein files? Really contemplate that question. Really contemplate that question. One of my friends on Facebook, what does Charlie Kirk's death have to do with the Epstein files? and just before 9/11, that's a setup. Because not only are you going to have previous generations like, the millennials, even, the millennials, even the Gen Zs. I mean, they would have been toddlers when that happened, but you've got conservatives of every different generation that are about to be united under this man's death. So it's about to be conservatives who actually remember 9/11, and then it's going to be Generation Alpha, and the younger version of Generation Z, who are going to be united with older conservatives. It's going to bring everyone together in one big almighty mess. It's not going to be good. And like I said, this death by Charlie, this murder of Charlie Kirk has given the far right their rallying cry. It's not looking good. The timing is fucking crazy. The timing is absolutely crazy. Okay. This looks quite sad. This represents, these cards right here represent the aftermath of Charlie's passing, of Kirk's passing. Okay. Separation, that's this right here. Separation, that's reversed. Stand still. Okay. Let me see. So there may be a temporary cease of infighting among the conservative movement, because as much as the right were divided over Trump, they didn't seem to be that divided over Kirk. So I feel like, again, like I predicted, that actually, that's not the future. That's what's happening. That's what's happening underneath the surface. So underneath the surface, there was this concerted effort to bring conservatives together, as well as keeping Trump's name in the clear, keeping people distracted so that they're not focused on Trump's failures. Fertility, it's time to think about family life and children. Don't sacrifice family for career. People are going to click up. People are going to click up. Because remember, we've got 9/11 today, and then on September the 13th in London, we've got the protest happening in London. And it's a far right protest. So this is uniting, this is going to unite fascists all over. Not good. I personally feel like that was always the plan, but also the plan was to usher in new laws and new ways of life for people. That's what I think is going on here. Like I said, Charlie Kirk's death was a catalyst. And speaking of catalysts, we've got the Tower card. Things are about to change abruptly in America. And it's only a matter of time before the rest of the world follows suit. Because fascists don't waste any fucking time politically. So underneath the surface, there's powerful change happening. There's like earth-shattering change happening beneath the scenes. There's legislations and rules that these people are getting ready to put in place that are even more oppressive. This is not going to be good at all. Underneath the surface, 5 of Pentacles, money is tight. Money is tight. The US government, or any government that is Western, they seem to be in debt to tech companies, or to companies that, that have been helping them helping them blacklist and survey people. The US government is in financial trouble. I mean, it always was. It's been that way for decades, but I feel like it's really in big trouble. Trump has never been good with his money, so why would he be good with the taxpayers' money? So the government's been in problems, and they need to create new laws to distract people, to get people to stop thinking about their corruption. And they need to bring the conservatives together in order to, further push their agendas, right? So that's what essentially was at the root of what happened to Charlie Kirk. That's what these cards are telling me. All right. Now, this is the future. And it's got, those cards that I read for you there, that was like what's underneath the surface, what's going on underneath. So in the future, we've got the Temperance card, and we've got the Two of Roots, which is a Two of Coins. Um, I feel like this usually signifies having more than one task, right? Trying to think, because this is stumping me, because I'm seeing something, but I'm trying to work out what it is I'm looking at. What? Is there going to be reshuffling of some kind? Reshuffling of government? Reshuffling of like maybe corporate stuff? There's a reshuffling of some kind. Like after Kirk's passing, there's going to be a reshuffling of some kind within government or among whatever businesses he owned. Well, that's understandable. He's dead, isn't it? So it would be. I think there's going to be reshuffling of some kind within government. I think that's what it signifies, because it's like, water from there is being moved to there, and then there's stuff being juggled and, moved around. There's reshuffling. There's reshuffling that's about to happen after this. Because September the 11th is going to have everybody highly emotional. Maybe not on the day, but like in the next few days, I believe we're going to be highly emotional. And when that happens, everybody's going to be distracted by each other and how one another is responding to Charlie Kirk's death. So that's when the US government will kind of reshuffle, like rework laws so that they can further gain control over the populace. That was the whole point of Charlie Kirk's death. Okay, so you've got the Two of Wands here. And the Roots. People are mobilizing on all sides. On all sides of the struggle, people are going to be mobilizing. People are going to be preparing. People are going to ready themselves for whoever makes the first move. I feel like more people will be allied more on ethical code than ability. And I feel like they're going to share their abilities with one another in a more meaningful way. That's a good thing and that's a bad thing depending on who's doing it. And I think everybody is doing it. So it's both good and bad. Charlie is going to be seen as a martyr after this. Kirk is going to be seen as a martyr for truth. Having that kind of egregore is very, very powerful. Charlie Kirk has become an egregore now. He's not just flesh anymore. He's become an idea. And that idea is something that, you know, many people on the right will celebrate behind. It will bolster them, like, far from like damaging their morale. The thing about death and violence is, you know, when it comes to extreme political leanings, especially on the right, death and violence seems to really mobilize them and get them, you know, get them joining together, get them really unified. Got the Three of Cups here and the Six of Blues. Memory, gatherings, unification, joy, celebration. So the weird thing is that Kirk's death brings celebration on both sides, but for different reasons. Like, obviously, those on the progressive side could give a fuck about Kirk, okay? And, you know, they're glad he's dead, and, you know, well, not glad he's dead, they just don't give a shit that he is. Whereas the right will celebrate him as a martyr. They will revere him, they will honor him in a way that nobody might ever do with Trump. Because, like, I think he was more popular than Trump. I think everybody was more popular than Trump on the right. But I think Charlie was genuinely popular among the right. I don't think he was just some edgelord that pissed people off. I truly think a lot of people like what he had to say. I am not one of them. I am not one of them. I'm going to restrain what's really on my mind at the moment because he's just died. He's not even cold yet. So I'm going to I'm going to keep my real feelings to myself for now, boy. But listen, come back to me a year later. I'll fucking let loose, mate. So yeah, he's just passed on. Like, it's already kind of, it's already a bit risky of me to do this now, but like, me speaking badly of the dead on top of that, like, nah, fam. Nah, you know. Yeah, it's like there's binding by old conditions and authority. That's what I'm seeing here. That's exactly what I saw here. Standstill. There's a desire to break that standstill. Let's see, 102. There's a desire to break that standstill. Oh my God. Oh Lord. Oh my gosh. So this isn't just about, you know, conservatives being united among each other. It's also about old authority being released. I knew there was a reason I was meant to, yeah. I'm not expert on these runes yet, like, I'm only just working with them, but like, it seems like that's yeah. Charlie's Kirk death was it was planned. It was planned. Because there needed to be like a big shift. Like, and it needed to be so big and so quick, it just knocked people off their feet, and this was perfect. And the timing was perfect for them. Now I'm going to get into what I really think about all this. What I really think is that even though I did not care for Charlie Kirk, I did not like him, I don't think he was a good person. I don't even think he was an okay person. Okay? I'm not going to tear him a new one here, but I don't think he was a good person. I don't think he was any of those things. But The timing worries me. The lack of care worries me. It's the fact that somebody killed this man at an especially emotionally charged time that people are still commemorating. And you have to remember, like, 9/11 is commemorated among like firefighters and emergency services. What political leaning do they usually have? Right political leanings. Firefighters and police officers. 9/11. You got people who still remember 9/11. I was a teenager when it happened. You got people who were even older than that, still remember that shit. And even though there are debates about whether or not it's an inside job still, like, those debates are quietening down. So now that's not going to be so important so much as, America and what people think it stands for. That's going to send shockwaves throughout the world. So no, this is not good. I am not a fan of Kirk, like I said before. And the only reason why I'm not letting loose is because he's just died. Like, he's literally like cold in the ground at the moment. I'm not about to do that, but this was completely set up. We're being played here. All of us are being played. And it's the American people especially are being played. My heart goes out to you guys, because this is not going to be an easy thing to get through. But yes, I've been Empress Justice, and I don't want to say that I hope you enjoy the reading, because this is not a reading to be enjoyed, but I hope you got something out of it. And now I'm going to go. Peace and blessings. Bye-bye.